remember that two-piece kind of Hawaiian set?
Yeah.
I love that. I feel like when I was editing, I didn't remember why you didn't pick that one because I felt like you would have looked good in it.
Because it was $400.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's so cute.
It was cute. I know. I was like, but it's like such a look that it's one of those things that you can only wear it once or twice.
Yeah.
And then people remember you.
So what made this top the winner?
What made this top the winner is that it reminds me of the Jacquemus collection from last spring. He did these blouses that I'm sure was an homage to Yves Saint Laurent. It's really funky and weird, which completely goes against what I was just saying about a really iconic piece. But because it's like YSL and it's like you can play with it some more.
Yeah.
It's not like so funky that, you know, you can't mix and match a few different colored pieces around it.
And like right now you have it styled to where it's like so appropriate for like office or meeting wear, but I could totally see you rocking it with like a swimsuit.
Yeah, and I actually wore this to Art Basel where I paired it with like a skirt, and it has like a completely different look when it's worn with a skirt. It looks more flamenco.
Oh, cute.
So I think it's really versatile.
What's the role that vintage plays in your wardrobe?
Well, I think vintage has always been sort of the foundation of my wardrobe. When I first started being interested in fashion, I was still in high school and I couldn't afford the clothes that I really loved, so I would always go into the thrift shops and buy iterations of it. And still to this day, I really love even modern clothes that look vintage because it's really, really classic. And I think the longer you work in fashion, the more you want to have pieces that stay with you forever. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's something that's like eternally linked to my style.
I feel like every style debacle or issue is kind of just resolved by going vintage.
Exactly.
Whenever I just need to head out the door and I want to look cute, but at the same time I don't have time to like sit there and figure out an outfit. My go-to is kind of high-waisted, straight denim with like pointy flats. Like no matter what, I always feel really slim and long with that. Mm-hmm. Is there anything like that for you?
Yeah, it's a similar look. I love wearing like high-waisted fitted jeans and a pair of mules and maybe like a top that has a little bit of shape. And I feel like that always elongates and sort of tricks the eye into making my proportions look a lot longer.
Right, like that Tom outfit that you have on your Instagram where it's like really like sculptural top and the denim.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I would never in a million years gravitate towards that top at all because I'm like personally scared of any sculptural shape like that, but I feel like it totally worked with those jeans and it's not like I looked back on it, I was just like, oh, she looks shorter than she is, or it's unflattering. Like it was the opposite. I felt like it was super
and
flattering.
I think because we're petite, we can actually go for more sculptural shapes versus when I feel like, you know, if you're like a 5'11" girl, it would just attract way too much attention.
Dude,
and the way it's fitted would look larger than life.
Yeah.
So I think that is something that we can benefit from our height a little bit, is that we can go a little bit bigger in sizing.
Okay. So kind of the opposite. As a petite, what are things that you just completely avoid?
I think I completely avoid mid-length dresses because I always look like I'm drowning in my mother's clothing. Like when you go to Nordstrom or something and you try on a dress that's supposed to hit, you can tell by the hem it's supposed to hit like above the knee or something, and it's always just like way past my knee, and like there's like so much space between the armhole.
Is there anything else you just stay away from?
Actually, I really kind of hated flared jeans for a while because it
I'm still on that page.
Yeah, I was like, but they started coming out with cropped flares.
I was just gonna say.
So that's the hack.
Yeah, I like would speak like really badly about flare jeans for petites, and then I realized that I have like a somewhat cropped flare from Reformation that's literally my go-to for everything. So I know you wear mules.
Yes.
Which I actually don't even own one pair of mules.
What?
I know. So I went to really random foot doctor like a few years ago, and she gave me this whole lecture and like about how my feet were actually really messed up. And then she told me that mules was one of the shoes that you're not supposed to wear.
No.
Because, okay, so your toes are supposed to be flat like this, but mine kind of curl like that. Which she says it's from me wearing too big of shoes, which is totally true. Like, it's not until a few years ago that I would always go for a size 8 shoe, but I'm like a 7.5, 7 sometimes. And she said that it's also from like grabbing onto shoes. So anything that doesn't have a strap, it not only tires out your feet, but also like makes your toes go like that.
No way.
So I feel like I have to get over that to like reintroduce myself.
Yeah, I was like, well, now I have to get rid of my entire footwear. I always found them to be the most comfortable, which is ironic.
Really?
Yeah.
It must be in my head then. Like, I feel like once I get something like that in my head, it takes a lot for me just to forget about it.
I feel like that's gonna happen to me now too. I was like, I'll have to use add straps to all of my mules.
Just like clear Scotch tape in there.
Exactly, I'll just make shift.
Yeah.
I won't get rid of them, I'll just add straps.
That'd be cute, like a little ribbon.
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know. It's like it'd be like a take on those Dior
Slingbacks, yeah.
So what would you say is your relationship with heels in general?
I obviously love heels. I really like that in the past few seasons, fashion has been sort of veering towards more kitten heels and low mules. And I think too, because like sneakers so trendy right now, after you go for like a more comfortable, realistic way or practical approach of dressing, it's really hard to go back to like the days when, you know, people were wearing stilettos.
Have you ever felt alienated by the fashion industry?
Definitely. I mean, I think for the most part, whenever you're shopping, you never find things that are your size or they don't cater. I know so many brands that don't even cater to smaller shoe sizes. And I really don't think it's because people don't shop for it. It's just, there is a demand. Like, I remember going to my friend's booth recently at Echo Park Craft Fair, and she doesn't make any 5.5s, and like 3 girls, including me, were like, do you have 5 or 5.5? So I think people just don't cater to petite sizes that much because they think it's like a risk. But I do feel like a lot of petite frame girls are really interested in fashion. Yeah. So that's what I find ironic. Like, you go to the Cooper building just down there, and like there's more girls our height than there are like super, super tall women.
Right,
you know?
and I feel like all celebrities are petite.
Yeah, exactly. So
what's the best part about being petite?
I think that the best part about being petite is that you can kind of make anything work. In the sense that you can always add a belt to something. I think the creativity that goes into dressing comes to play a lot every morning when you get ready. You just like work with what you have, and like you can always learn to cuff something, or you're constantly like learning how to make adjustments and playing with your style and experimenting with your style. And sweater dresses, that's one thing not a lot of people can do.
Yes. And
without pants. Just kidding.
Dude, I do that all the time. I feel like I wear too short of things, but at the same time, I can totally get away with it because I'm short. And
it's the hall pass.
I know. It's like the benefit to everything we have to put up with.
You know, when you're 5 feet tall at Coachella and you're in the beer garden in the VIP section, you can't even, you can barely see the monitor.
Right.
It's basically like you can have like a more comfortable experience watching it from a laptop at home.
Like, I always want to be in the front, but that means that you just get to listen to the music.
Yeah, I usually have to stare at someone's back, watching their sweat perspire as I'm like listening to my favorite band, and it's really not the best visual.
Okay, so first question is from Nayeli Romero, and her question is, which coats and jackets look flattering on petite women? I always feel as though the jackets and coats I wear, I'm 5 foot, which you are too, look too big on me.
So I think I really like that cropped jackets are coming back into style, but I also think a lot of how you wear your coats depends on how you style it. So if you're going for a clunky coat, you should wear something a lot more slimming, and wear it with maybe like ankle boots, because ankle boots will elongate your legs with whatever pants you're wearing. But yeah, I think like just the styling really depends, and you can play around with the proportions. If you're going for a crop, go for like a higher waist. If you're going for a coat, wear something slimming and like ankle boots to elongate. Just style it up. I think, yeah, just wear skinny jeans with your coats and like just shoes that aren't too chunky, and then you're pretty much set.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I feel like for me personally, looking through my coats, the ones that I wear the most are either the cropped ones or the super long ones.
Yeah,
like,
and I actually really love like the super oversized coat look.
Yeah.
I think it looks, I don't know, it looks kind of cool. I have like this size medium Nanushka jacket, and I wore
Wait,
it.
is it the brown one?
Yeah, the brown one.
I
yeah,
love
and it's
that
so
jacket.
big on me. And honestly, like, I love traveling with it because I can use it as a pillow when I'm on the plane.
Oh my God, it's
but
brilliant.
seriously, like, I get so many compliments on it. And this woman at the airport was like, I didn't realize that it was so big on me, but she's like, I love that it's so huge. Like, you're just wearing it and it's like you're drowning in it. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I actually love sizing up in puffer jackets because for the longest time, I would buy it in my size, and then you wear your layers and then you can't move.
Right.
You're literally like a gingerbread. So I finally learned the hack of just sizing up to like a smaller medium.
Okay.
And it's so comfortable. You're like enwrapped in something.
Right. And I'm like a sucker for long sleeves. Like, I know that's technically in tailoring world not right. Like, it's supposed to hit you in the bone of your wrist, but it's just, especially when it's cold, you don't have to wear like gloves. You can just
you don't,
like
exactly. So your like hand is hidden. It's a 2-in-1.
Yeah, and you can still use your phone. You're not like.
And your phone is this inside your hand and also covered by the sleeve.
Okay, next question is from Callie Lee Fitzpatrick. How do you wear those oversized trousers without them swallowing you?
So whenever I wear like the high waist trousers with the flares, I usually wear a crop top or like a bralette, and then I throw a blazer over it. Because I feel like the only way you can really like manage the proportions is if you show a little bit of skin.
Right, I totally agree with you. There is this kind of Chanel bolero cropped jacket that I got, and I really love it. So, but I've yet to find like an outfit that it works with. So yesterday I went to Bloomingdale's and got a little bralette, and it looks so cute. Because when I would put it with the bra, it'd be like, yeah, this is cute, but I feel like it's not, it reads a little like trying too hard, but I feel like bralettes for us shorties can really read as crop tops.
Definitely. And I think like if that's too skimpy, you can just wear something that's like a little bit sheer but fitted.
Yeah.
It slims it down while you can play with like the chunky pants.
Do you ever get ideas of your head of like a perfect garment? I feel like for me right now, it's like a really small, like kind of turtleneck, mock neck, mesh, white fitted top. But I know that I'm not gonna find it because it's so defined in my head.
You never know.
I know.
You might just manifest it.
I know. I want to check out Wolford for it, but I am scared because it's probably gonna be expensive. But I'm also in this kick where I want to be more like thoughtful and ethical with all of my style purchases. So I think that's another reason why I've kind of been dreading shopping. But Wolford, it's like they make their stuff in Germany, right?
Yeah, and I think anytime you like pay for something a little bit more that's an investment, you value it so much more.
Right.
Like my Wolford leggings, I buy Rite Aid leggings left and right, but my Wolford leggings I like take care of, and I feel like I really make it up for the cost per wear.
Right.
Because you want to take care of it. There's like an emotional
attachment to it.
Yeah.
Totally. Okay, Gabriella Marie asked, what are your favorite brands for petite clothes? Brownie points if you mention ethical brands.
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think of brands that run really small. I don't know how ethical some of these brands are, but I do find that French sizing runs a bit smaller. I really like Reformation's petite tops. I feel like they have a pretty good fit for petites. I'm trying to think. I kind of don't really buy petite lines specifically though. I usually find the designers that run tiny.
Yeah.
Like maybe afterwards I can give you a list of like brands that carry like size 00 and just brands that run a little bit smaller and are friendlier for tiny.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Yeah, I was like, I know I have a lot, I just can't think of it. I have to like go through like my order confirmations that from online shopping. My friend's brand called The Frilly, they have this really cool service where you can like design all of your own pieces. So you can even shorten all of the hems in your pants.
That's really awesome.
But it's not petite specifically, but because you can like pick the hem and like length of hem.
Right, which I almost feel like that's better if you're able to give them your sizes.
Yeah.
Maybe you not only need it shortened, but also like
exactly.
not as wide on the shoulders, maybe wider. In what situations do you feel like you found like your most favorite pieces?
I think it's a mixture of like serendipity, and also I do actively try to make shopping guides for my site. And so when I do that, I'm like making lists and sort of unintentionally setting trends for things that I want. And
how do you find those brands that you feature?
I find them actually from visiting a lot of small boutiques here in LA. Like I really love going to like more like concept shops, and whenever I'm traveling I always go to like the big shop that like carries a lot of local and global designers, and I always discover so many cool new brands from that.
Right, because if you think about it, they have a whole staff whose job it is to go to big trade shows and find the best
exactly, the best of the best. I find it kind of like cathartic to be able to shop online and like see like all the new arrivals. I'm really picky, so I like seeing all of my options first, and then I make a choice from there.
So do you do a lot of online shopping?
I do, yeah.
Do you feel like you return most of what you get?
I don't think I've returned anything ever online.
What?
I just think it's such a hassle, so that's why I'm really picky and careful, because I know once I buy it, I'm never gonna return it. I don't want to deal with FedEx.
Oh my God.
I don't have a car, so like I physically have to bring the box to FedEx, and like, yeah, it's just not fun.
I mean, for me personally, I feel like whenever I online shop, I return almost everything. Like I'm lucky if I keep one thing, and I mean, I should know better as a stylist. Like I know that stuff is pinned, but it's hard for me to visualize it. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's because I already come with a mindset knowing that I'm gonna have to make alterations no matter what. So if I like the general shape and fabric and piece, like I got these Stella McCartney pants tailored that was literally, I would put it on and it would fly off my ass, like slide down my legs.
And that was the smallest size even.
And that was the smallest size. It was like Italian sizing, and it was the smallest. And I just took it to a tailor, and they literally like perfected the waist without ruining the shape of the pant.
How do you find your tailor?
Well, I had a really good one in New York when I was there for the summer, so I took like 6 pairs of pants there. And here in LA, I just have like a local tailor. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he's bad. It's a gamble.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, do you look on Yelp or do you ask like friends for recommendations?
I should ask for friends for recommendations, but LA is so big, and like I know my friend Courtney, who's also really tiny. She has a tailor that she loves in Mid-Wilshire, but it's just I will never get my clothes back if I had to travel that far. So I go to one that's a block away from my apartment. And sometimes he's good and sometimes he's bad, but
I go all the way to Koreatown.
Oh wow! Yeah. So you have a really good one that you travel for.
It's funny. It's Aaron's Digitex dad's or friend's dad that did all the custom bomber jackets for a drive.
No way.
So
okay, so he's like, talented.
Oh yeah. So I was just like, he did the bomber jackets for a drive.
Maybe you should give me his info, because
I will.
I'll just do like a monthly trip instead of weekly.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I do. I like have this basket going, and once I think it's gonna be worth it to go, because it is a hassle. You have to go try it on, bring a bunch of shoes that you wanna like wear it with.
Yeah. I actually got these pants tailored as well. This used to come like down to my ankle.
They're
And
so
I cropped
cute.
it.
I feel like the shape of them is really flattering too.
This is actually really huge, and it was tricky because of the, yeah, there's like so many components to it they had to preserve.
I mean,
So
that's
this
like,
was done in New York. I don't
Okay.
trust my 50% odds guy to do that.
Why'd you come back to LA? Or what did you think of New York?
I loved it. I think because my job's flexible, I would much prefer to live in a place where like the what is it called? The quality of life is a lot higher, and like my rent here is obviously so much cheaper.
Yeah.
And I knew that there was no way I was going to spend winter in New York because it's like my entire family lived here, and you know, like my boyfriend lived here.
Right.
So being in New York alone in the winter was just not, with a flexible job, just seemed like such a bad idea.
Right. I did a summer in New York and I didn't last more than that.
No way.
I think that at the time, I didn't have any money. I was interning. I lived in the Upper West Side. Like,
yeah.
it was like a bad combo of like not having like a close knit group of friends and not
Starting out your career as well.
Yes,
Yeah, I think New York, you really have to be comfortable,
I agree.
or you need to have like a job there already, because it's
Yeah.
hard to hustle if you're,
Like,
it's
it's
hard
like
to reap the benefits of the city if like you're not quite there in your hustle yet.
Right. And you need like a safe space.
Yeah, you do need a safe
Because
space
it's
and a
really
support
hard.
group. It's a
Yeah.
hard city.
Like everything from community, it's like I'd get groped every morning, like
Yeah.
the subway station. Like I can't believe people like deal with that. It's crazy.
crazy.
Like sardines.
So I when I was living in New York, I would only live in neighborhoods I could walk in. Like I would just walk. I would be like in the Lower East Side. I avoided like the subway completely because of that, which was great.
Well, thanks so much for doing this.
Of course, thanks for having me.
You guys should follow Olivia in her many creative endeavors because she kills it. You really do.
Oh,
You
thank
have
you.
Bond Weekender, Lust for Life, and you launched your photo and like website, right?
Yeah, my
Just-
photo portfolio.
It's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
And you're a writer. Now you just need a website for that.
I know.
I still laugh every time I watch that clip of the first date meals.
Oh, first date, yeah.
Like I didn't get it fully, to be honest, until I watched was looking through the clips and I was just like, oh, first date.
Yeah, I don't.
I thought it was great, and you look super cute. I should send you the clips.
Oh,
you
yeah,
just like have
send
the
me.
biggest smile, and they're also like
we're like,
big.
we think we're so funny.
I know.
That's what I call first date. How to lock down a guy.
All right, walk towards me.
My fault.